Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday. We start off a brand new week, hopefully spunky and energized by our weekend. Today, we have Beth DeMilt and Andrew Wagner with us from the Beyond Indigo team, and we're going to talk about forms. What we have seen since this time period starting in March is forms have become really important and really powerful tool in the marketing arsenal for veterinary hospitals. So we want to share that information with you today. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Balzell, and I'm the owner of Beyond Indigo Pets. Today is Monday, and we have Beth DeMilt and Andrew Wagner with us because we're going to talk about forms. And forms have become a really powerful tool. You may have thought, well, forms are kind of like geek talk or kind of geeky. But since all this hit and curbside service and everything in March, forms have become a really powerful tool in your marketing arsenal. So we're going to talk about them today because we want to help you and help yourselves and your clients. So Beth's going to go first. Beth, what do you have for forms today for us?
So when we're doing new website builds for clients, we provide up to 3 HTML fillable forms with the site. So what that means is that a client can go to this page and fill out their information, and then it gets emailed to you at your clinic in a PDF version. So you don't have to touch forms that other people are touching. They don't have to come in early to fill out paperwork. It's a really smooth, seamless process. And a lot of people, especially in the millennial age range and lower, like to do it online and not actually in the clinic. So it's a nice little feature that we have for our website clients.
And it's really working, right? We're seeing the numbers go up quite drastically as we're adding different forms, but it also just streamlines the process, the whole veterinary visit process, so that there's just less contact, there's just less back and forth. Maybe the hospital knows what they're getting into before the patient comes to their door. But we're really seeing forms increase, right? Like you're just seeing the numbers.
Yeah, and they're really convenient in normal times, and they're especially convenient now, again, with curbside service. They just make it really easy for someone to give you the information that you need with minimal contact. We have an example of some forms we have on the Beyond Indigo site right now. And as you can see, it's just really easy to go through and fill out the information. When someone, on this one, for example, it's a newsletter. So when someone clicks sign up, it will actually send their information to the email address that we have associated with this form. And then the process is done and they can be added to the newsletter list, and it's very simple. We have another example, on our site for our contact form. So if someone's interested in working with us, if they want a website, if they want social media marketing, if they want blogs, they can just go ahead and fill out this little tiny form really quickly, and then have it sent to us. We can have the forms integrated into the site so that they kind of match the styling of the site, and it's just a really attractive, easy process.
And it looks good too.
Yes.
I mean, it really does. It looks simple and easy. Also, you can use them on a mobile phone, right, as well as a desktop. And I think that's important to mention because a lot of people are on their mobile devices, or even an iPad. So it's not like that difficult for people to utilize depending on where they are.
Right.
And if you do have forms on your website, right, if they're not ours and you do have forms on your website, please check that they work on a mobile device, right? Because a lot of times, we just put a website up and we kind of forget about it because we think it's just running in the background, which most of the time it is. But it's always good once in a while just to check out features, because all of a sudden it might be 5 years and you realize your website is now 5 years old and maybe things work or don't work, right? Or important information is covered up. And that actually is what Google's going to be starting looking at this year, which is called the page experience. It's a new algorithm change. And how forms are displayed will definitely be part of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right? So we got to kind of keep ahead of that. Andrew, what do you have for us today with forms?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the tracking aspect of it, about the technical aspect of it a little bit. Digital marketing is a data-driven enterprise. Really, everything that we do is based on accurate collection and analysis of data that's coming in from the web or from your website. And while we track many different kinds of data, of particular interest to us, of course, is the valuable actions that are taken by your site's users. In most cases, this includes things like phone calls from clickable phone numbers on a website, or directions requests generated by a clickable address on the site. And of course, forms are an important part of this as well. Having forms available for your site's users to access, complete, and submit on your website is a great way to generate new clients. If someone who's looking for your services finds your business for the first time and is able to send in an easy to complete form in just a couple of minutes from their phone or their computer, that removes the barrier and the potential hassle of having to make a phone call, sit on hold, come into the office, etc. Ultimately, it really makes the process more seamless. And from a marketer's point of view, it also makes this process measurable. We use the data that's collected by tracking software on our websites to optimize a pathway from a site's landing page to the site's form pages, and ultimately to form submissions themselves. Beyond Indigo uses a few different platforms like Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager to precisely measure everything that's happening on your site, including how users navigate through it to find what they're looking for. And we do this in order to help make the process as simple, seamless, and enticing for the user as possible. We're also able to use this data in order to track how much revenue or how much value a website is generating. If we get an appointment request form submission, and we know the average ROI of a veterinary appointment at your practice, we can use this data to develop a picture of the kind of business that your site is bringing to you directly. Many veterinary practices use third-party online services, which integrate into their practice management systems to sign up clients for new appointments. And while this is perfectly fine, and plenty of our clients use this method, and it's also something that we're able to track up to a point. One recommendation that I have is to opt for forms hosted directly on your website. Once a user clicks through to a third-party service, our tracking software loses track of them. And we have no way of knowing whether or not these users actually submitted a form or took a different valuable action that's happening away from your website. One benefit of having forms hosted directly on your site through Beyond Indigo is that we're able to track these users right up to the final form submission. This allows us to give both an accurate account of how people are interacting with your forms, as well as how many form submissions we're receiving and what's leading your site's users to these forms. So, there's a lot that goes into it, but I think that, I think having all that measurable data right at our fingertips is really a benefit. And forms really brings hosting your forms on your website really brings that through for us.
It does. But I, taking all of what you said and taking everything kind of what Beth said, we kind of put it in a pot and stir here at Beyond Indigo, right? Because like Andrew, you're correct. Everything is, well, it should be, at least the way we do it, and a lot of other marketing agencies, but it's not across the board, is it should be data driven, right? It just shouldn't be because, wow, that looked cute, or it was a really nice meme or whatever. Here at Beyond Indigo, we use goals, and we market and create marketing programs to achieve those goals and track the results, which is part of the data-driven work. So part of the data I think is important for people to know with forms is it's actually tracked in multiple places. So there's an online database that we can access or the client can access to see form submissions. They also get sent email information, like via the email. So as soon as somebody sends out a form, whoever's been named as the retainer of this at the hospital level gets information, from the form as soon as it's submitted. So it's actually tracked in a couple of different ways, right? But then I think taking that data, some things that we tell our clients one step further is they can actually take the phone numbers or whatever information they use in their PIMs to actually see, like you said, Andrew, we can take their average ROI and we can make an overall guess. But if people wanted to do the due diligence, they could actually take the phone numbers and see how much each client that came in on a form actually spent within the hospital, right? Like it would require a spreadsheet and a little bit of time, but it can be done. So we can go even deeper than just the average revenue generation. But this is what people should be doing with their marketing, right? It's great to say, yeah, I got 10 forms, but what did those 10 forms get me? Did those 10 forms turn into new clients? Were they existing clients? You know, like those are the underlying questions that have to be answered, right? That's what you guys look at.
Yep. Yeah, and like Andrew mentioned, a lot of the forms that we see are the new client form or the appointment form. So it is really helpful to see actual clients coming in from filling out these forms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's tails through the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and usually it's just not a new client for today, but does that new client come back multiple times, right? And then you can track the life cycle of that based off that data information that was collected on that form. And then also you were correct, you know, I was thinking about it, with hospitals so much busier today, with so much more phone work because of the steps that have to be done for the protocol to keep everybody healthy. The phones are tied up and nobody really wants to be on the phone more than they have to. But the way, you know, if you can make it simpler and easier, then people maybe aren't as stressed about the process. Because, you know, some people get a little touchy about it, you know, with certain veterinary hospitals. And so if you can calm people down and give them some security and give them some structure before they hit the veterinary hospital, all the better, right? Because they're just like, okay, everything's done. I don't have to worry about it. If I need anything special information, I can look it at home and not have to realize I didn't have it when I got to the hospital, all of that.
Yeah, and we can personalize the emails that the clients get once they submit the form. So if you have special instructions that you want for COVID, we can put that in that email so that they really don't have to call at all. And the process goes a lot smoother.
I agree. And this setting up expectations ahead of time helps people's expectations, right? Like if this is what you should expect at a hospital and then people get there and that's what they get from the hospital, you know, tensions are maybe just a little bit less. Not saying 100%, but just help ease the process, right? Can't always guarantee the attitude people bring with their pet to the door, but maybe we can help it out a little bit. Yeah. Any final thoughts today?
I'd say that the forms really, you know, like what you're saying, they really just make everyone's life easier on every end of this interaction, whether it be the veterinarians, their clients, your marketing team. Having this stuff in place and allowing us to be able to track it in the way that we're able to really just enriches the entire experience, and I think it's tremendously valuable asset to have on your website.
I agree. Well, get forms today. If you don't have them, we can help you out, right? Yeah. These are the people who will be helping you out. So come see us if you haven't. And if you do have forms, make sure that you're checking the data. You might be letting some potential revenue go through without capitalizing on it. So that's what we have for you today. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Andrew. And we'll all see you again tomorrow.